guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm going to be going over my 2023 TBR and my reading goals for this year. So let's get right into it. Okay. So, my last video I was going over all the books I read in 2022. So today's video I'm going to be going over all the books I hope to read in 2023, my reading goals for this year, and the book series I want to read, and all the new releases I would love to get my hands on. So I am actually reading 3 books right now. One being The Secret History by Donna Tartt, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling, and Happy Days by Gabrielle Bernstein. Those are the 3 I'm reading now. I am currently I think I'm about halfway through each book, so I should definitely be done with most of them by January. So good. So my number one really goal I want to do this year is definitely finish the Harry Potter series. Back in 2021, I think, yeah, 2021, I started to read all of the Harry Potter books because yes, I do love Harry Potter, but I have not read all the books in full in order before, so that's what I'm planning to do. So that's what I want to continue on and finish hopefully in 2023. Like I said before, I'm on the 3rd book right now and I have the other books with me, so I can really speed through those. The next series I want to get my hands on is the Crave series. I don't know too much about it. All I know is that people have compared it with a mixture of Harry Potter and Twilight mixed into one, and that just sounds amazing. So it's like an academy, so it's dark academia, and there is, I think, 5 books. Oh, there's a lot. It looks like there's 6 books out so far. There might be more, I don't know, but it looks like there's 6 books in this series so far, so I definitely want to read that, and I think I'm definitely going to like that. I kind of want to go in completely blank and not know really anything, so I can just be surprised throughout the whole thing. So that's my goal for that. The next series, this series I actually really want to finish. I started it in 2022, but I want to finish it this year, and that is the All Souls trilogy. So this is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I have the trilogy right here. I read Discovery of Witches back in October-ish, and I adored it. I adored it. It was one of the best books I've ever read. I've said before that it's literally Twilight on steroids, and I need more of it. So I want to finish that series. I have 2 more books left in the series, and I definitely want to finish it. It is about a witch and a vampire falling in love, and it's very similar to Twilight, but it is also grows beyond Twilight, which is amazing. But yeah, it's about a witch and a vampire falling in love and all the problems that come with that, and it's magical and it's gorgeous and it's so fun, and I cannot wait to finish it. Next book I want to read this year is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Babel, everyone in the booktube community has been talking about Babel. Everyone and their mom wants to read this book, and I'm one of them. I am a couple months late to it, but whatever. Babel has been described as the #1 new dark academia book. People have compared it to The Secret History, but 10 times better. It is about a man named Robin Swift, I think his name is, who is at the Academy of Babel. There is some magic in this book, and their magic is translation, the translation of languages, and I've never heard that done before, so I'm very excited and intrigued to see how that's gonna play out. It is a chonky book, so I cannot wait to dive into that. But I've heard that there's a lot of footnotes in it also. I'm thinking it's gonna be a heavy-ish read. I don't know. I've heard a lot of amazing things about it, and I can't wait to see what I think about it. I think I'm really gonna like it. I think I'm gonna like it, so fingers crossed. Next book is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. As you guys know, last year I read The Starless Sea, and The Starless Sea was one of my favorite books of 2022, so I really want to read more of Erin Morgenstern, and I've heard so many good things about The Night Circus. The Night Circus is about 2 magicians who are in this competition for magic, and by the end of it they both fall in love or something. I don't know. That probably does not do it justice. I've heard so many great things. It's magical. If it's as beautiful as The Starless Sea, then I'm all in. Next series I want to start, I can't finish it in 2023. I'm telling myself that. There's no way I can finish this, but I would like to at least read the 1st book, and that is the Fortuna Sworn series. I have no clue what this is about, so I had to look it up again. I know that it is a self-published high fantasy series. So this is by KJ Sutton. Fortuna Sworn is the last of her kind. Her brother disappeared 2 years ago, leaving her with no family. She hides among humans, spending her days working at a bar and her nights searching for him. The bleak pattern goes on and on, until she catches the eye of a powerful fairy. He makes no attempt to hide that he desires Fortuna, and in exchange for her, he offers something irresistible. So Fortuna reluctantly leaves her safe existence behind to step back into the world of creatures and power. It soon becomes clear that she may not have bargained with her heart, but with her very life. It's a fairy romance, it looks like, and it is, I feel like it's similar to Court and Thorns and Roses, which is one of my favorite series of all time. Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction really loved this series, so that's how I figured it out, and that's how I found out about this book. So I definitely want to see what I think, and cover just looks gorgeous. It looks so gorgeous. But yeah, I would love to read this book. It looks so good. There's currently only 5 books out, I think, and there might be more coming. So like I said, I definitely want to at least start this series. I don't want to finish it. There's no way I can finish it unless I like it really that much and I can binge the whole series. But the next book I want to read is House of Hunger, which I have right here by Alexis Henderson. I started reading this back in October and I just wasn't feeling it at the time. I definitely want to start over and read it again. And this is about a girl named... what's her name? Marion. Marion is our main character. Through the book, there's vampires and it's a lot of fun. She sees an ad in a paper for a blood maid. Now, a blood maid is a maid for a vampire. She's just there to be food. She's just there to be food for the vampires. So she sees an ad in the paper for it and she takes it and the story goes on from there. If it's a vampire book, give it to me because I love vampires so much. To finish that book, like I said, I only read like 2 chapters of it back in October and I wasn't feeling it at the time. I think that was because I just finished another vampire book and I just wasn't feeling it anymore. The next book I want to read is a book that came out recently, and that is The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. This is a gothic book, a gothic literature book, and from the sound of it, there's detectives, they're in New York City, and there's something with tarot cards, and that's all I know so far. When Anne Stillwell arrives in New York City, she expects to find her summer work as an associate at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Instead, she finds herself assigned to The Cloisters, a gothic museum and garden renowned for its medieval art collection and its group of researchers studying the history of divination. Desperate to escape her painful past, Anne is happy to indulge the researchers' more outlandish theories about the history of fortune-telling. But what begins as an academic curiosity quickly turns into an obsession when Anne discovers a hidden 15th century deck of tarot cards that might hold the key to predicting the future. In the dangerous game of power, seduction, and ambition at the Cloisters turns deadly, Anne becomes locked in a race for answers as the line between the arcane and the modern blurs. A haunting and magical blend of genres, The Cloisters is a gripping debut that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Sign me up. I found this, I didn't even know about it beforehand, but I found it in the bookstore a while back and I just read the first 2 lines of it and I'm like, you know what, I'm sold. So I want to read that book so bad. All these books I cannot wait to read, and the problem starts of which one to start first. Every book lover's problem, huh? The next book we have is Slewfoot by Brahm. This is a tale of bewitchery. It's about witches, but this one I don't know too much about, so I'm gonna read the synopsis. A spirited young Englishwoman, Abatha, arrives at a Puritan colony betrothed to a stranger, only to quickly become widowed when her husband dies under mysterious circumstances. All alone in this pious and patriarchal society, Abatha fights for what little freedom she can grasp onto, while trying to stay true to herself and to her past. Enter Slewfoot, a powerful spirit of antiquity, newly woken, and trying to find his own role in the world. Healer or destroyer, protector or predator. But as the shadows walk and the villagers start dying, a new rumor is whispered. Witch. Both Abatha and Slewfoot must swiftly decide who they are and what they must do to survive in a world intent on hanging any who meddle in the dark arts. This sounds amazing. And I know that there are some beautiful illustrations in this book, so I cannot wait to get my hands on this book so I can look at the illustrations and print them out and put them all over my walls. So more books I want to read this year are definitely more witchcraft books. So what I mean by that, meaning actual witchcraft books that are informational. One being the Book of English Magic and The Crooked Path. I have The Crooked Path. I don't have the Book of English Magic yet, but I can't wait to find that and read them. The next book, the cover just looks gorgeous. I picked it up just because of the cover, because why not? It looks so gorgeous. The cover is gorgeous, and that is Anatomy by Dana Schwartz. When I first read the synopsis of this, it reminds me a lot of the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, which I have right there, and I loved that series, and this sounds a lot like it. So I'm hoping that it's similar. So let me read the synopsis. Edinburgh, 1817. Hazel Sinnott is a lady who wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to marry. Jack Currer is a resurrection man who is just trying to survive in a city where it's too easy to die. When the two of them have a chance encounter outside the Edinburgh Anatomist Society, Hazel thinks nothing of it at first. But after she gets kicked out of renowned surgeon Dr. Becham's lectures for being the wrong gender, she realizes that her new acquaintance might be more helpful than she first thought, because Hazel has made a deal with Dr. If she can pass the medical examination on her own, the university will allow her to enroll. Without official lessons, though, Hazel will need more than just her books. She needs bodies to study, corpses to dissect. Lucky that she've made the acquaintance of someone who digs them up for a living, but Jack has his own problems. Strange men have been sulking around cemeteries. His friends are disappearing off the streets. Hazel and Jack work together to uncover the secrets buried not just in the unmarked graves, but in the very heart of Edinburgh society. A gothic tale full of mystery, romance, and a willful female surgeon, a resurrection man who sells bodies for a living, and the buried secrets they must uncover together. I love that. Oh my god. That sounds so much like this is a Stalking Jack the Ripper series. What I would give to reread the Stalking Jack the Ripper series again, like have no knowledge of it. So I want to read this one so bad. I cannot wait to read this one. And the cover, again, it's gorgeous. And it looks like she has red hair. The next books I have here is actually a duology, and that is These Hollow Vows and These Twisted Bonds. This is another fairy romance, high fae romance, which A Court in Thorns and Roses, I just love it. So this one, it's literally described as The Cruel Prince meets A Court in Thorns and Roses in a sexy, action-packed fantasy about a girl who is caught between two treacherous fairy courts and their dangerously seductive princes. All of these books are like so me, and I just can't. Oh. How many times am I going to say that in this video? I cannot wait to read these books. The next book is The Binding by Bridget Collins. This is a story about, I think, books in the 19th century England. I've heard about this book for a while now, and I just have not gotten my hands on it yet. Books are dangerous things in Collins' alternative universe. A place vaguely reminiscent of 19th century England, and a world in which people visit bookbinders to rid themselves of painful or treacherous memories. Once their stories have been told and are bound between the pages of a book, the slate is wiped clean and their memories lose the power to hurt or haunt them. After having suffered some of the sort of mental collapse and no longer able to keep up with his family chores, Emmett Farmer is sent to a workshop of one such binder to live and work as an apprentice. Leaving behind home and family, Emmett slowly regains his health while learning the binding trade. He is forbidden to enter the locked room where books are stored, so he spends many months marbling end pages, tooling leather book covers, and gilded pages. But his curiosity is piqued when people come and go, and the arrival of a lordly Lucien Darnay, with whom his senses a connection changes everything. So again, a book about books. Yes. The next book is The Woman in the Library. I just noticed that we have a lot of books about books and libraries on this list, so this is gonna be a good year. It is a mystery, and it's a murder mystery. In every person's story, there is something to hide. The ornate reading room at the Boston Public Library is quiet until the tranquility is shattered by a woman's terrified scream. Security guards take charge immediately, instructing everyone inside to stay put until the threat is identified and contained. While they wait for the all clear, four strangers who happen to sit at the same table pass the time in conversation and friendships are struck. Each has his or her own reasons for being in the reading room that morning. It just happens that one is a murderer. The Woman in the Library, unexpectedly twisty literary adventure that examines the complicated nature of friendship and shows us that words can be the most treacherous weapons of all. Amen. I found this book just by the cover, and I said yes. to it. So the next book is another witchy book, and that is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. People have said that this is a discovery of witches meets The Craft. Again, amazing. This I don't know too much about, and I think I really want to keep it that way because I just want to be completely surprised. This book came out last year, and I think it is going to be a duology. I think the second one just came out or is coming out this year. Yes. The second book is coming out June 8th, 2023. I don't know if it's just going to be a duology or if it's going to be a whole series. I don't know. But I definitely want to read the first book. Honestly, I don't want to know anything about it, but as long as it says A Discovery of Witches Meets The Craft, I'm all in. That is actually the last book on this list. I'm gonna read a lot more books than this year, and I normally don't set strict TBRs for myself. I just don't, because I'm a mood reader and I read what I feel into during that time. So I would like to read all these books this year. Is it gonna happen? Probably not. But this is a loose TBR for the year. Probably gonna find a lot more to read or new things that come out that I haven't heard of yet. Again, I don't like doing TBRs because I feel like that just puts too much pressure on me, and my reading goal for this year is to read 30 books. I usually keep every year at 30 and see how far I get. I'm predicting right now that I'm probably gonna read at least 35 books this year, but I'm keeping my GoodReads goal at 30 because I'm too scared. That is all the books on my list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know if you've read any of these books on my list or if you plan to, just like I do. And yeah, just let me know. Let's talk about books in the comments. That's gonna be the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you have not already, and click the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I upload. And if you want to find me anywhere else, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, GoodReads, Pinterest, and in between the pages of a book. And as always, remember to be the Captain Jack Sparrow of your story, and may your compass lead you to amazing things. And I shall see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.